Welcome to the BriteVibe podcast. At BriteVibe, we believe everyone deserves to be happy. But in today's world, everywhere you turn, there is division and negativity. At BriteVibe, we have created a global movement to bring 8 million people together who are inspired to live bright, live bold, and share bright vibes. Alone, it can be hard to change, but together we can change the world. Welcome to the BriteVibe podcast. Today, our special guest is Ari. I'm going to try to roll it anyway. Ari Tulla. So excited to have you on. I've been reading some of your stuff, your background, your bio, looked at the website stuff, and just love to talk to people in the space of helping other people be healthy, and especially people that had issues that made them very passionate about being healthy, right? I find the people that are most passionate about anything typically have had some type of pain or some type of catalyst for wanting to know these things. So certainly welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your background, and then we'll get into kind of why you care about health.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Wonderful to be here. Just briefly on my background, I'm from Finland. That's the reason why I speak funny at times. It's not in here, it's in heart.
It didn't sound like Texas. I was like, I don't think that's a Texas accent.
I've been living around the world for a long time, and living in a family, we speak Finnish with kids and my wife, and but being in the US for 15 years, so I'm still trying to kind of establish my right California accent.
I always think it makes people sound smarter when they have an accent. I need to learn like a foreign accent just so people will listen to me more. But you sound like an expert when you have an accent. So I think it's a good thing.
Thank you. That makes me feel better. And I think there's a point about, we are all kind of same. And, if you speak different, at least, you're memorable. Yeah. Finland being a very small country, we have 5 million people. We have maybe 6-7 million people who speak the language. And the language, we don't need to go talk about language so deeply, but it is an own tree branch of language. So it's Sweden, Norway, German, English, as close to Finnish as is Chinese and Japanese. So it's a very unique, and none of the words really are the same. So it's very unique, like Navajo, secret language. And the one thing that we always say that is kind of unique is that in Finnish language, we don't have a gender at all. And that makes it kind of unique in a way that you don't talk about he or she, you talk about it all the time. And that's pretty cool because we talk about, being inclusive and being, not taking a side on anything. I mean, you don't need to think about, am I going to say he or she when I talk about random person? So that's pretty cool.
Huh, that is interesting. More inclusive or encompassing. So you didn't have to worry about all the gender language that the United States plays with all the time, right? It's like,
cool. And some language like Spanish, you have the la and an l, and you never know how to say is a car a woman or not. It's kind of interesting in a way. But so I lived there for my youth and was heavily in tech when I was a kid already. I was very lucky to be one of the early people who got computer in my hand when I was 6 years old. The 086 computer PC that you could really do nothing except maybe a code or maybe build a game or whatnot early in the days with 2 color screens, monochromatic screens. But I got really, swept away with that world and spent the last 40 years more or less in the online world in some level and building things with computers. I stumbled upon health a long time ago. So my girlfriend, current wife, had a health scare 20, maybe 3 years ago already. She had a thyroid tumor.
And let's be clear that you don't have a girlfriend and a wife. We're saying the woman who was your girlfriend is now your wife, right? Okay, good. For the listeners, I want to be clear.
Same person.
Same person. Okay, good.
But that was something that when you are in your early 20s, you don't really think about health and mortality. But we had to do that discussion back in the days, and luckily everything went okay in the end. That was a wake-up call for me. And I've been an athlete all my life, and I thought about performance and optimization training, but thinking about health and mortality at that early age made me maybe a different person than I would have been otherwise. And that has been leading me into working in healthcare for the last almost 15 years now, and before that working in tech for a long time, building companies and mainly in the space of video games.
Interesting. Well, there's a whole discussion about that as well. So your wife had a tumor on her thyroid specifically, right? And then, so how did she, I guess, what was the protocol? What did she have to go through for that situation to be, I guess, resolved or rectified or healed?
Yeah, that was interesting story by itself. That when she diagnosed herself, we were in a British Museum and looking at an exhibit about Egyptian healing, and
Hmm.
there was a sarcophagus that you could touch different points of the body, and you could hear in the earphones what was the normal way and why people died back in the days, 2,500 years ago. And she was
Hmm.
pressing the neck area,
Hmm.
having headphones on like you have now, and suddenly going all pale and calling me there. So I'm like, what's going on? And she's touching her neck and having the headphones on. I put the headphones on, touch her neck, and I'm like, yeah, you have exactly what they're describing in the audio. And then a few days later, we are back in Finland, and she's in operation table, and they take away a half of his size tumor from her neck.
Oh my
And
gosh.
with that, they also had to take part of the thyroid that often leads into autoimmune diseases, hormonal imbalances, and that was an area we've been now that battling for almost 20 years when it was 20 years.
Right. And so and that was then the catalyst that kind of made you think more about health, wellness. You actually founded a company, I guess, that connected doctors. Is that right? Or people that were, and when we say doctors, what was that company and what did it do?
Yeah, so we were then in Finland and moved to US in the late 2000s, and we were starting to plan to have a family. And we realized that with the certain medications and a certain treatment that she had ongoing, you could never get pregnant.
Mm.
And that's a tough thing, of course, when you want to have a family. And we spent many years on trying to find a resolution, like Eastern, Western medicine. And in the end, we found that diet was the one that was able to help her to fix her body. And as many autoimmune diseases, it's about inflammation within your body.
Hmm.
And we were able to lower the inflammation level and help her heal
Mm.
that thing. And in the process, of course, when you move from Europe, where you basically, healthcare is basically given to you, you don't pay
Right.
any extra. You go to a doctor and you get care. In the US, as we all know, you have a system where you can go to a million different doctors, literally a
Right.
1.2 million doctors in the country, or
Right.
caregivers. And
Right.
I was then at Nokia. I came to the US to build a new unit for Nokia and video gaming in the Bay Area.
Mm.
And I had this gold-plated Cadillac plan. You can go to any doctor you want, you pay nothing. And
Hmm.
suddenly you have an option to go to any of the 50,000 providers. And we had no idea who to go to. So after meeting, 50 people, I was like super frustrated. And how do we really get the right care in
Hmm.
this new world? And that led me to leave my post and start a company called Better Doctor. And the
Hmm.
idea was simply find a doctor you love.
Hmm.
And we started with this idea that can we help million people find a doctor that can help them really in the right way? And
Hmm.
decade later, I think we have helped 200 million people in the US. So most of
Oh,
you
wow.
today are somehow interacting with the doctor data that we created. So it became kind of like a backbone system for the US healthcare system.
Interesting. Very interesting. And so the doctors, how did you, and just for my own curiosity, how did you match a doctor with somebody like in your situation? So what became the right fit? I guess, how did you filter them down to this is the person you need to talk to?
Yeah, great question. So I think all of us have heard about companies like maybe Health Crates
Hmm.
or WebMD or
Right.
Yelp, and whatever
Uh-huh.
people use to find providers. So we started to create a data set, and the whole idea was to make it more transparent. The system
Hmm.
today is very difficult. Like you can buy a toaster and you can read million reviews on Amazon about
Yes.
it, but then you
Right.
pick a doctor who will basically cut you open and remove your
Right.
heart. You have
Right.
no idea if they are good or not, and you barely know the name. Maybe you
Right.
know where they went to school. So we started to look at this, like, could we assemble all the data in one place, even from basic things like address, phone number, education background,
Hmm.
certification, malpractice, what they have done to whom and when and how often, public reviews. So we collected all that data together in one platform, and we built a website and a mobile app. That was the beginning. And later the company turned into kind of like an API. Think about like a platform that you can build other apps upon. And it was tested in about 3,500 other companies who use the data in their systems.
And so did that, and I think you have sold that company since, I mean, the company we're talking about, you have sold that, right? So it's now just the backbone for other services. Does it not exist as an app anymore, or does it still stand alone?
No, this is a business, not topic for today maybe, but it's tough to be a brand and a website and a platform if you have your own brand in game. It's like
Right. Yep.
like Yelp, if they would start powering other people, then
Right.
it would be kind of eroding the value. So you can't really be a standalone platform and at the
Got
same
it.
time be a backend provider. So we shut the website down 8 years ago, and it was a tough call. One of the toughest things I ever done in business. That we have millions of people coming to our site every month, and we shut it down. And I mean, I got thousands of emails a week from people about like, why did you put it down? But it was a business decision that you had to do because the business was going elsewhere, and sometimes you can't justify. You and me will not pay for a website to find out.
Right. Got it. And just so we don't leave people hanging, is there a resource still out there that people could go to find? And I know that's not necessarily what we're talking about today on this podcast, but we're here. So if we can provide value, I mean, that's why we do these podcasts, is try to provide value for people. So is there a specific site or two that you would recommend if people were having the same struggle you were having? Is there some good still resources out there that your old company is powering?
I have to admit that, yes, I was able to build a good business. Yes, we ended up, having a really good outcome for everybody involved. I don't think we solved the problem we started with. Yes, we have had an impact, but still today, 12 years later, there's nothing available today where you could really go and find the right care when you need it. It's still a black box.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. So this is where the new company started, folks. Right here on the BriteVibe podcast, I'm gonna challenge Ari. I'm trying to roll that R to do this, because this is what this is what people need, right? Because we lean in a lot here to people that are doctors, physicians, and healthcare providers that are kind of in that functional medicine space. And I still see it's so challenging to find functional medicine doctors that are looking at the whole person versus treating symptoms with pills. And I think there's certainly a place for pills, but those should be short-term bridges, not long-term solutions, right? And so I think there's still room for pharma, there's still room for traditional medicine, but how is it integrating? And so I do have, my personal doctor and that I see is a functional medicine doctor, right? So he can prescribe me pills if I need them, but he's not going to do that unless it's just a short-term bridge. They're going to look at the underlying causes. And so I don't know if there's resources out there that help you find that type of physician or healthcare provider. And you would know better than I as far as that. But you're saying,
yeah, you make a really good point, and this is a topic I don't talk about that often anymore, but I've been helping, and I try to help anyone listening today. If you want to, fix this market and do it, I'm always happy to help and talk. I mean, I think I helped every company who has done this after me, and none of them really have gotten to a level that I would recommend them to be the source today. So who has this data today? It is Google, and many of us, all of us, go to Google when we are looking for doctors. 80% of the people who go to doctor, they actually discovered or went into Google at some point of their journey. So Google is the place, and a Google search where we go do it today. And all this is maybe a secret. I'm telling it only you and maybe a couple of people. But Google has all that data today. I was working with them, years ago already on this topic. But because of how the system works today, and Google is basically today called Alphabet. It consists of many companies. So the Google search is only one piece of it, together with Android and the mobile phones that we all know Google to be. But there's also a lot of other things under it. So Google has the data, but they are not able or willing to turn it on, because if they would, I believe that there would be regulatory impact for the whole company to be broken to pieces by the government. Because Google doesn't make a lot of money on the healthcare search today, but think about 80% of the access to care has somehow happened because we interact with Google. That 80% consists or ends up being $3,000 billion of cost and money. It's the biggest single market that Google is doing today, and they make no money on that. If they would turn it into revenue and start directing us to the right place or any place who's paying, that would be basically something that they would be regulated almost instantly. So that's why they can't do it. They could do it today. They have it ready. The system is beautiful, but they can't turn it on because of this thing.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we may circle back around to this topic because now we've stepped in it, right? But let's go on to what you're working on or what you do today. You have a new company, and is it just pronounced Elo?
You can say, hello, Elo, or Elo. It depends. Okay. But I'm a Finn, and it's hard to find company names today. So I love to pick Finnish company names. I have a few of them, in the quiver. And Elo means life in Finnish. And
okay.
Ilo means happiness. So it's a really nice kind of link both ways.
Very nice. And so you founded this company how long ago?
About 2.5 years ago.
Okay. And so what does this company do, and what does it specialize in? And by the way, I did sign up. So no, this isn't an ad. You're not paying us. We don't have any links or anything like that. We're not an affiliate of yours, but I was looking at today and it was so simple. You made it so easy. So when I was doing the background search for you and looking up all your stuff, I was like, okay, I'll try that. And so I did. So I did sign up. So I should be getting my blood test kit, but you tell us what does your company do?
No, thank you for signing up, and thank you for the compliment. I think we are trying to make things easy, and my whole ethos that I've been trying to do for many years is to make tech and make online service to be delightfully easy to use. That's what I do, and that's my core competence, I hope, and my focus when I start looking at a new problem. I try to make it easy and delightful in that. But Elo is a company where I've been thinking about this for a long time, since my wife had her issues, and we started to use food as medicine for my family. So the simple idea is to try to turn food from the root cause of disease that is today into the best medicine we can have. And that's maybe a leap of faith and tough to believe, because we are killing us today by the diet we are eating and the stationary lifestyle we are having. But at the same time, we can reverse the course by using the food as medicine. And there's a lot of scientific evidence, and of course, Hippocrates maybe said this 2,000 years ago already. So it's not a new idea.
Yes.
But I think it is now starting to happen, and there's many things just in the last 2 months that have happened that are wow, in my opinion. Like, government is putting $8 billion in food. There was a new article, study that came out last week from PSAMA saying that by adding nutrition treatment, we could save about 13.5 billion in healthcare costs, and 160,000 people would be better off every year. So those are massive numbers that we could impact the system. But the idea, so food as medicine, many people talk about it, like what do we do concretely? So my focus is that if I want to improve you in anything, like your reading, your comprehension, your sport performance, or sleep, if we don't know the baseline, if we can't measure the baseline, we don't know what to improve. We don't know if you are improving. So we are trying to create these measurements on nutrition that are better than the weight scale we have somewhere in the cabinet that we don't use. We fear the scale. Yes. So how do we build ability to measure the nutrition, measure our health, and then start improving it? So what we call our product, really what it does is finding your nutrient gaps and then filling them. That's what Elo does today. And we do it by doing a blood biomarker test in the beginning. Many of us, almost all of us, have done lipid panel. Think about cholesterols and others. And A1C. Maybe we have done some, maybe CRP, C-reactive protein for inflammation. But most of us have never been tested for like vitamins and minerals and stuff like that. So we're trying to do a pretty comprehensive test in the beginning to understand what is a baseline. And then we start working with you and trying to, help you stay healthy, or even help you heal from certain things you might be having problems with. And today, 80% of Americans are overweight. 50% of us are pre-diabetic.
Yep.
So we are really moving fast in the direction that is not going to look good. And many of us are not going to live as long as our parents did. So we are actually, like you and me are, you know, in 40s, we are unhealthier today than our parents are today, who might be 30 years older than we are. And that's pretty insane situation we are in.
Yes. Well, and, you know, we had Dan Buettner on the show early on, 2 years ago, when I kind of started taking over the podcast. And, Dan was talking about in his book, in the Blue Zones, it talks about specifically that the children of the centenarians, or the people that live past 100, the children of those people aren't living as long because they've started to eat the Western diet. They've started to eat the cheeseburgers and the fast food and the processed food. And so what they were seeing is reversals. So they're, to your point, the parents are living 80s, 90s, 100 independently. The kids are having diabetes, heart problems, all this stuff in their 30s, 40s, and 50s in these same countries. And so it's interesting to see that. I guess it just kind of validates what you're saying, or validates your point that you are kind of what you eat, right? You are what you eat. And so if we're eating things that are processed, high in toxicity, then we're going to experience disease. And I've had so many people come on the podcast, so many people on our summits that just are like, in fact, we're getting ready to do a joint venture with a company where we're actually looking at, Dale Bredesen's got a lot of work around Alzheimer's and how you can actually reverse Alzheimer's. And so we're going to do a physical location here in Kansas where we'll have an Alzheimer's reversal unit, but it's all based on things you're talking about, things we're talking about today: nutrition, supplementation, exercise, right? This isn't some new magic drug that we're giving people. This is just kind of rectifying the crap that they've done to themselves through kind of the basics, right? I mean, it's science. It's very technical. I think there's 36 in Bredesen's protocol. There's 36 different things that you can affect, but basically you boil it down. It's vitamin D, vitamin B, exercise, sunlight, community involvement, all of those things, right? And there's just so many people starting to talk about it. I didn't even realize some of the things that you were talking about in the last 2 months, but how do we, I guess your company then is educating people around that. You're doing that work then. Yeah.
So the beginning is the test, because we wanted to go into a world where you and me can agree on something. We can agree that, if your vitamin D level is in teens, that's not going to be good. Your doctor will also say that is not good, and they will recommend you to have vitamin D. So there are a few things we can agree upon. Your LDL is 250. We can agree that it's not good. I mean, no matter who you are. Right. So that's the important point in the beginning. And to make that data a little bit, because the problem is that, biomarker data, blood biomarker data is not, we can't test you every day. So we test you in the beginning after 90 days to validate, and then we continue testing every 6 months. That's the right cadence for people, because, it's kind of annoying to collect the blood. You don't want to do it daily. Right. But then what we did on top of that, we started to incorporate the wearable devices that many of us have today. Like I have an Apple Watch, I have an Oura Ring, I have a Whoop, I have a glucose monitor. So we are starting to incorporate that data together with the blood biomarker data. So we know your recovery, we know your activity. And as you well said, we test vitamin D, we test vitamin B, we see your activity in real time. So those are then becoming more daily things, daily habits we can help you. And recovery, I'm a huge believer in the idea of, good sleep and recovery. I was very lucky. We have a family small fund. We invest in these companies, and first investment 10 years ago was Oura Ring. So it's been really cool to be able to use the rings, different versions, for the last 9 years almost now myself. And I have a lot of data collected that I know about my sleep, and I know how is different things impacting. And I have a really good system today that I almost every night I recover well. And I'm 44, and I still do and compete a little bit in sports. And I recover equally well today as I did in my 20s. And that is a big testament to having a system that, reducing inflammation, optimizing for recovery. But for Elo perspective, the idea is that we want to build these loops and feedback loops that are not every 90 days or every 6 months. It's a very boring game if you get points only every 6 months. So there has to be a way to do it.
Yes.
And We take the data from the biomarkers on blood, health questionnaire, we take the wearable device data, and we have built an AI model today. We can call it an algorithm to simply sake. And we turn that data into the right nutrition plan. And there are a lot of people out there who are giving you recommendations. They give you like, you should do this and that. We decided to take a leap forward and actually deliver people that nutrition to the doorsteps automatically. So you don't need to go to a store or get a PDF or whatever. We deliver that to you. And to make it more trustworthy, we marry the whole system together with the dietitians that you work on one-on-one. So in the beginning, when you do your blood test, for example, you're going to have a session with the dietitian, and they're going to go through your data, whatever data you connected to Health, your questionnaire, your biomarker data, and they're going to walk you through what we recommend in the beginning. So there's no surprises, and you will get exactly what you want. You can even modify the plan based on like, hey, I can't do this. I mean, fish oil I can't do because I'm a vegan. I forgot to say about it. So we had to find another version for that omega-3, for example.
And so I just want to make sure I'm getting this clear. So I just told you in the show that I actually signed up, no prompting by you or anyone else. But first I signed up and I don't even know. I didn't even put any credit card information in, I don't think. Did I?
I think you did.
Did I? Oh yeah, I did. I did. But I signed up and it doesn't charge me anything and it ships me out a kit, right? So is that accurate? Yeah, I mean, so I didn't see any charge come through. It was like, we'll send you the free kit. So I'm assuming it's a free kit, but then there's supplements that once it evaluates my blood work, then I'm going to get, it's a monthly supplements, right?
Yeah. So you pay for the whole subscription. It's including the ongoing testing, including the coaching. You have an Elo app. You can communicate with your coach 24/7 if you want. Any questions you have, you can send a note, take a photo of a product you want to ask a question, and you get feedback. It's like a nutritionist in your pocket. Yeah. And then you get supplements on a monthly basis. So we just launched a new website a few weeks ago, and this is a very kind of introductory offer that, with people signing up right now, they are getting a free blood test in the beginning. So it's really like a $200 worth of test for free for people.
Yeah, that's what that was my point. I was like, you've got to be losing money on that test.
We lose $200 every time we do it.
Right. Okay. I want to make sure that I wasn't, because I was like, well, I don't know. It says it's free. So I'm going to say, so good marketing, by the way, it drew me in. I did it and I wasn't even looking for it. So I'm going to get back to blood work. And then you said I actually will have time. And this is not an infomercial, people. This is actually just questions from me. So I understand how it works. Ari isn't paying me or sliding, I'm not getting my supplements for free. But in essence, then I'm going to have a meeting, you're saying, with an actual nutritionist who's going to go over the blood work and the kind of, here's what they're going to recommend for me to eat. Cause I didn't even realize that was part of it. I was just like, hey, you know what? It'd be nice to know what vitamins I should be taking. Cause I've got off my vitamin workout routine. And I was just like, you know what, I've got vitamins, but I don't even know what doses I should be taking right now. So I'm just going to kind of try this for a while and see if this helps kind of dial that back in.
Yeah, that's the core benefit. But if you think about us as a company, so the goal is not really to be another supplement company. I last company, I think I was lucky to build, we were able to have an impact in massive, I'm like 200 times more people than we started to do in the beginning. So I believe big things are possible if you start small.
Right.
So the first box we built is this idea of having the testing ongoing happening, comparing the data from wearable devices and the biomarkers in blood, and then sending people these nutrients that they have gaps and then filling them. 90% of people we have tested now, we have 1,500 people, I think. Those people have improved the biomarkers. So it's real improvement, which is pretty insane to see. You don't have often your doctor is kind of telling you that, you will likely see an improvement on something.
Right.
It's really happening. So that was the box we started with. And there's nobody else really who has done this, pairing the service layer of the dietitian, pairing the data from wearable. It's the first company of this type. And it took 2 years time for us to kind of really believe in our own heart that we can do this. And it's been so great to see the early members who are all brave, and I'm in a forever debt, them that they believed us in the very beginning because we were the new kid on the block. And
Right.
now we are starting to get more and more validation and feedback that is actually really good. There's a lot of word of mouth going around with the members who really like what we are doing. Because
Mm-hmm.
today, 100 million people
Mm-hmm.
in the US are eating supplements every day.
Mm-hmm.
100 million of them don't know what they are eating, why, and are
Mm-hmm.
they having any impact. That's a lot of
Right.
placebo, $60 billion worth of placebo today. And it would be
Well,
great if people would actually take what they need. We have many people coming in who are low on, the D and the B and,
right.
iron. And these are a lot of women they are very low on energy.
Mm-hmm.
And once you help them to get back on track on those nutrients, they feel much better and their
Mm-hmm.
life gets better. That's a known fact. I think
Mm-hmm.
any doctor would tell you. But it's
Mm-hmm.
so many people have these problems, and many people are eating very narrow diet. And we all
Mm-hmm.
know that our food today is depleted of all the good nutrients. I mean, how is it like 50 years ago, the
Right.
asparagus had like 4 times more nutrients than the massive piece of asparagus today. And that's
Right.
just the fact of life again. And we eat food that looks like the food we ate before, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just depleted because the soil is very depleted and we grow them so big so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's a big problem that I don't know how to fix. It's very difficult. But we
Well,
all almost need supplementation today because we are all low on something.
yeah, and I totally agree. And so there's so many things we could unpack here. So one, and I don't want to gloss over this. You said this early on in the show, and I want to repeat it so that we all know this. Inflammation causes disease. There's no that's like a fact now. That's not some mythical thing that, if you were, arthritis, autoimmune disease, sleep disorders, all of that, most all of that is caused by inflammation in the body. And inflammation in the body is caused by what? What causes inflammation in the body? Let's just touch on those things.
Well, I think there are many different points of view on this, but I
Mm-hmm.
think they are starting to more
Mm-hmm.
get into one lane. I mean, there used to
Right.
be many different views, but I mean, inflammation, of course, illness and any type of even like a sprain
Mm-hmm.
or you have something in your body like virus or
Mm-hmm.
many things can cause inflammation. But in the end, the inflammation is growing and stays alive when we feed it with sugar, for example.
Right.
And
Sugar.
sugar is probably the single easiest culprit that eliminating excessive sugar will help everybody to lower
And
inflammation.
and I'm going to throw gluten in there as a real close second, if not tied. For I've known so many people, even myself. It's like, if you think you have arthritis and you're continually to eat gluten, and I'm not a doctor, and this isn't medical advice, but if you're eating gluten and you have arthritis, there's things that, to your point, are feeding that illness. They're feeding that disease. And so, yeah, a good friend of mine, he went out and he was in the restaurant business, and he like stopped eating gluten, and all of a sudden he was like, my joints don't hurt anymore. I stopped taking my arthritis medicine. And then he went back and ate some, and then he had to do some work around his house or some physical stuff. And he was like laid up for 3 days. And he was like, it's just not even worth it anymore, because he could physically see. I remember when I detoxed for a week and kind of got real clean, and I ate a piece of bread, and all of a sudden my whole face just kind of puffed up and I got all stuffy in my sinus. I was like, what in the heck? I didn't even know that I was allergic to gluten or what it was doing in my body, but it instantly caused inflammation. So we can't stress the point enough that disease is caused by inflammation, and we feed inflammation by eating things that feed it, which are processed sugar, right? And we're not talking grapes, and we're not talking bananas, I don't think specifically, right? We're talking, if it's white and it comes in a bowl or in a bag, you shouldn't eat it, right? And then gluten, right? It gets stuck in our joints and it causes, all kinds of pain and suffering. And so, and I know even from reading your story, so your diet's primarily vegetarian, I think. Is that accurate, or do you eat some types of animal protein?
We went into diet again. Diet is an artificial limitation that we can remember with our reptile brain. There's no reason to really have a diet if we would have a ELO type of system helping us. I hope in the future we will, because you could probably eat the food you love, but it would be made in a way that it won't do harm for you. It would be right oils. It would be right type of ingredients from macro micro perspective. we went a long time ago because we had to eliminate in our reptile brain. So we
Mm-hmm.
went no meat, no wheat,
Mm-hmm.
and no sugar, no added sugar at all. And we've been on that type of diet for, I don't know, 15 years or so with
Oh,
my
wow.
wife. And today we went back to eating some meat
Mm-hmm.
because we have kids who are getting a bit older, and I don't want to tell them not to have any meat in the house because it's their own decision. It's not my
Right.
decision to make their life. And
Right.
they talked me into starting to eat like venison,
Oh, right.
starting to eat some very clean meat and fish. And I mean I'm from Finland, so I love salmon. I love small
Mm-hmm.
fish. So we added those into our diet. But
Mm-hmm.
we haven't really had bread in the household,
Right.
white bread for a decade or more.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, for example, a week ago with my son's class. We went camping, and
Mm-hmm.
good dads we are. We wanted to make like a special night, so we brought two of those portable pizza ovens that you have nowadays that
Mm-hmm.
turn like it's like a pizza oven in a pizzeria.
Oh, yeah. Pizza oven. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
we had these small dough bites that we got from a pizzeria, like a high-end stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
we baked, of course, like 50 pizzas over there, and of course I couldn't say no, so I ate like two, and I had the same thing you said. I woke up in the morning, I'm like, I'm in a hangover after one beer, like feeling
Right.
horrible. But it's like you eat a pizza in every 2 years, and it's like you're eating 8 beers basically, or drinking 8 beers. Same impact for me. And that's when you remind yourself that how bad it is. And I think there's this idea that when you are clean, and your point about having a fast or cleans,
Mm-hmm.
you really change the way how your body is working, and then you add something bad to it, you feel it immediately. But
Right.
if you eat bad food all the time, many of us can feel really good. I mean, we don't have like a bad feeling about it because we are so used to it. I mean, the human is such a rat in a way. When we eat, we can eat almost anything, as we know. But I think for me, the lowering the sugar intake was the key thing. I think cutting completely all the gluten. So my wife has been gluten-free almost 20 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a massive impact. And basically, she healed herself, her body completely with the diet. And we had 50 doctors who could not help, and no
Wow.
medication in the world could help. So I mean, that's a testament of
Right.
and I have 2 kids now who are testament of the fact that food is medicine, and for our family it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's obviously for you, it's a very real thing, and thank goodness that you didn't have to get sicker, or there wasn't more that you had to go through. But a lot of people are in pretty dire straits, and yet there's not. I mean, I think there's more and more information out there in the public eye. I mean, especially as people are starting to wake up to, hey, why is everybody getting cancer? Why is everybody having, all these, and all these different diseases that are so rampant where they didn't used to be. And why is that? And I think it's just to your point, the food is less nutrient dense. We've had several guests come on and talk about that. And then there's, a lot of the supplements are not, if you're buying stuff at a big box that's supplements, you're not really getting anything out of it, right? You're paying for a placebo because most of that stuff is synthetic, or is, made in a way that you don't actually absorb the nutrients. So you may be taking vitamin C, but it's doing nothing for you because your body can't absorb it. No different than you're swallowing a piece of plastic, right? I mean, you're just not getting the effects that you need to get. So you really need to look at quality products. And that's part of why we do what we do here at BriteVibe, is talk to people like you, because we want to start amping up that information and saying, hey, nobody's perfect. And God knows I'm not. I ate ice cream yesterday. So, just normal ice cream. So, but at the same time, I'm very aware, and it's at least a decision I can make. If I want to eat the bread, I know full well what I'm doing, and I can still enjoy the bread without punishing myself for eating the bread. But no, hey, that's not a choice I'm going to make every day, right? And probably not even every week. It's kind of like, okay, if I go out to a nice restaurant and they have fresh baked bread, it's hard for me to say no to that fresh baked bread. But I'm not going to your point, do it at my house. I'm not bringing in, trying to bring in the least amount of toxins. My wife and I talked about this the other day. We have 2 young kids, and it's like, we can't have stuff in the house that we're not going to allow them to eat. I mean, we just can't, right? And it's become kind of this, yeah, it's easy, but easy is not good, right? Buying stuff in a box or in a can is not, that's not good. We need to, cook. In fact, I stayed home from work a little bit this morning just to make some homemade waffles, but our waffles are different than normal waffles because one, they're made with cassava flour, and I make them myself, and I sweeten it with banana, and there's no sugar, and there's no wheat, and there's no, there's nothing. I know there's 5 ingredients, and I know what all of those ingredients are, and they're all just that one ingredient. There's not multiple stuff in there. I don't use a mix or anything. And my son loves them, right? I put drizzle a little honey on it, and he's, and I know that's, still sugar, but, but it's at least a raw form of that. And, he loves it. He ate 2 of them this morning. So anyway, I'm just on, I'm on my soapbox there.
You make a great point on the topic of kids. And I think, it's really up to us parents to, be the example. If we are the bad example, how could you tell the kid, not to do something? And if you bring, and if you have food in the household that is something that is just bad, like, the snack department, I mean, like, it's just wrong, I think, to tell them not to do it if you do it. And I try to be always a good example in everything I do as a, as a parent, as a husband, as a leader, as a kind of influence in this area. I try to be, living like I preach. And it's hard at times. And of course, we are all humans. It can't be obsessive. But your other point about the supplement and what they are they what they say they are? I mean, we all probably have heard about the studies done in, you take whole foods, you take certain amount or certain type of, product, and you test all of them, and none of them is even remotely what they say they are. So we knew about that at Elo, and we decided to do third-party testing for every product we have in our catalog. We have almost 70 different active ingredients, many different type of pills that we are providing to people today. All of them are tested with our third-party system. And we have had many products that we had to say no to, that were not meeting their criteria. And there's a lot of very suspect activity in the supplement space, because FDA is not regulated, like even not like food. Food is more regulated than the supplements today. So I think everybody should be wary about the fact, and also should be aware about the fact that there are a lot of trendy supplements today that are, some podcaster talked about the new thing and you try it out. We decided not to take any of the new stuff at Elo because there is not enough scientific evidence. So how my science team, and I'm not an expert on this topic, we have, I don't know, 8 or so dietitians working on the company. We have, scientists working on the company who made these calls. I'm just, there on a ride. But what they did, we took about 5,000 scientific journals today that have published information about these nutrients. How do they impact on human health? These are clinical studies done to humans, not on mice or tapeworms or even piglets or dogs. These are human studies. And we took all of those in, and we then highlighted the ones that have meta studies, that have collected many studies together and look at them as whole. And those became the key piece of the Elo algorithm. When we give you something, we are looking at who you are, gender, age, so forth. And then we are looking if you have biomarker problems or you have certain ways to eat or whatever you have. We pick the right studies to you, and that defines the dosing and the product you are getting. And there's also an area that nobody is talking about, or 2 areas. One of them is a drug interaction with supplements. Some of the medication we take, they have a negative adverse effect if you do supplement at the same time. So we always err on the medication and the doctor. So if you have a medication today, we will not give you any supplements that could be interfering with that automatically. That's
interesting.
Most people don't know about that.
Right.
And the second thing is that we are trying to cycle you in and out. So there are a lot of these more herbal supplements today that you should never have a year in a row. You should take 3 months and have a break. So we automatically cycle you in and out, because every time you get a pack monthly from Elo or the box, it is designed for that month based on the data we have about you. So it's automatically modifying. Simple example, what we do, for example, we're getting now to the fall. If you live in the northern side of the US, for example, we can automatically give you more vitamin D when the days get dark. Stuff like that. You don't need to think about it. It's on autopilot.
Wow.
And I've been getting a lot of good feedback on our members on these simple topics we have done. And we don't, it's not on the website or anything, but it's just automatic try to do the right thing for our members and for you to help you thrive.
Interesting. Very cool. That is very progressive and very cool. And like you said, you're taking a step forward. And I'm like, geez, this is cool stuff. And again, I'm actually impressed. I do a lot of podcasts and talk to a lot of guests, and all of them have great information. Very few of their products do I actually engage with. So I'll be very interested to see, and I'll give you my honest feedback. And what I'll probably do is have to schedule one of your nutritionists to come on the show just to go over my data so that everybody can learn from that, right? They'll be like, okay, Matt, here's what's wrong with you.
And by the way, I would love to do that, by the way. But there's another area that, like I said, the box concept. Like,
yes.
You built a company, you have to start it from somewhere that you can manage the complexity. And this was already a complicated thing. We had 30 people working on this for 2 years. So it's been taking a lot of time to build the box.
Yes.
And now the box is done. So now what we started doing is to adding more layers, adding more product. So I'm really excited that we are now in the next coming weeks, we are launching a new product called Elo Smart Protein. So we are bringing in a new product in the market that is a protein product that is not only designed by a blood work, but it can be only designed based on your workout data. So we take the last 90 days of your workout data from the Apple Health or any wearable device you have, and then we turn that into the right protein mix, and we hand mix the protein for you, the right carbs, if you want carbs, the right type of protein amount, and we can also add some of the supplementation into the protein. So if you don't like pills, you can have it in a protein form. And what's really cool that this is something new. If you do, and when you do a workout, we have a system that is smart, reminding you every time after workout how much protein you need, or if you need protein at all. And that's the system we built in the Elo app, and that's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of early customers have been like obsessed about it, and I'm obsessed about myself. Right. I have had protein now. After every exercise, I have the right dose of protein. And I have to attest that, I was a bit of a skeptic on protein. I hadn't done it for a long time. I feel great. I mean, I just, and my wife is like, you look great. And you also, I'm performing better. I mean, I'm getting more power. So I do rock climbing as a hobby. And my hopefully goal someday is to be competing in rock climbing again when I'm 45 in the Masters properly. So I'm close to that.
Nice. Well, that's amazing. So I've never heard of this. So you're literally mixing protein powder based on somebody's actual blood work and workout,
and also the workout data and all the health data we collect from you. It's every bag of protein we do is unique.
Wow. And yeah, I have never heard of that one. I've heard of a lot of things, but I've never heard that you're mixed. So you're prescribing the supplementation. I get that, but I should be an infomercial. I should be an infomercial host. I've never done an infomercial, but it feels like I'm doing one right now. So tell me more if you order in the next 30 days. No. Well, that's pretty crazy. So you're actually mixing protein powder. So you're doing other things in there, but you're doing it specifically for the person's blood work and for the way that person works out.
Yeah, and if you don't want, you don't have to do the blood work, because the blood work for some people are afraid of pricking the finger, and I totally understand that. So we want to make it either or.
I'm not in love with it because I hate needles and I hate the whole thing. And the funny thing is, I'm actually in healthcare, on the developer side of healthcare. So you would think that at some point, but no, I am. But I'm like, I'd much rather do the finger prick thing. I think that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Then I would have them drawing vials of blood. That would be like, I'd be a hard no on that one, right? If I had to go to phlebotomist and draw blood. But so I'm hoping that the finger stick's not. You've made it as painless as possible. I'm hoping.
It's pretty easy, but I've done it now 100 times or more, and I don't love it. I mean, I have to admit my fingers do hurt at times.
Yuck.
But well, so I wanted to I was only trying to tickle your brain a bit on this idea that we talk about smart nutrition and where is it going? Like,
Yes.
my hope is to build these new products to market every 6 months, something that, is kind of new to you, that tickles your brain in the right way, can delight you in a new way. So that's my hope. And we try to make this exciting as well. So the idea is that I hope we can gain trust from our members, and every quarter, year going forward, we can help you more. And maybe you need to supplement this today. I mean, I'm waiting to get the Elo meals out at some point. That would be really
Yes, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so that's I mean the goal. But to be, I mean, the food delivery market and the meals and groceries, that is insanely difficult to do. So we don't yet have the science dial or the ability to deliver as a company. We need to be much bigger. We need to have hundreds of people in the company to do that. But that's where we're going to go. And,
Interesting.
and we have the right investors, backing us up, who are pushing us there. But I built enough companies already. I know it takes time, and you can't leap frog in the future. You have to go step by step, and learn to crawl before you're running.
Totally. Well, how do people get more information? So is it just what's the website?
Our website is elo.health, elo.health.
Okay.
And we are in every possible social channel at elo.health as well. And anyone going to the website today, as said, you can sign up for free with the free blood test in the beginning, and until we are not offering those anymore. Of course, we can't do it infinitely, because we are basically losing money on every time we have people ordering this. And you can also sign up today for the Smart Protein wait list. We are rolling slowly people there, because we can't produce this yet in massive scale. It's very, very new. First time this has ever been done. So it's not easy always to be the first. And we are not yet available on the supplements in New York. Protein will be, but the supplements are not, because the New York blood testing requirements are very, very difficult. It has taken a year already, and we are very close to finally getting the New York opened. But nobody is operating in New York today in the at-home blood testing. And last point, we are not available on Android. We are only on iPhone and Apple devices today, because the Apple Health has been an amazing platform to connect all the data together. Android doesn't yet have the same capabilities. Got it.
Well, certainly makes sense. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We appreciate that. And and as you roll out new things, please let us know. Come back on. We'll have more in-depth discussions on health and other topics. But we also just looking at how do you grow a company? How do you grow a health company? How do you have a greater impact? That could be a whole show just in and of itself. As obviously you've been in the health space, you've grown companies. What helps people understand what you're doing? What helps people, be educated around the things that you're doing for other people in the healthcare space that are starting out or need to get the message out there? That could be a whole other show. So as you roll out these new things, certainly please come back on the BriteVibe podcast, and we'd love to visit with you more.
I would love to. And hey, thank you so much for having me. It's always great to talk about these topics that are really close to my heart.
Thank you for being a part of the BriteVibe podcast. For more information, go to britevibe.com. That's BRITE Vibe, VIBE.com. Thank you for listening.